Well, nothing quite like striking when the iron has long since been cold and will shatter upon the first strike. Let's hop back into this. I mean, if nothing else, it's just proof that I don't jump on bandwagons and I'm trying to sell out. Anyways, welcome to Antistasi Tanoa, as I'm going to be referring to it as. It's basically the exact same mod, but on the Tanoa map with the Apex expansion. So I pretty much set up the normal defaults, normal settings, and the 1v1v1. Unlike the previous version, which I've done an LP of, where NATO helped us, we are actually going against NATO. And the goal of the game is to change 50% of the blue spots, or even the red spots, into green spots. Now, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to go through the whole thing. My main goal is just to capture these two islands, and ending with the airport. I might take this island too, I'm not too sure. This is a very long mod, and I don't want to stick around it forever, so I guess I'll just see if I continue or not once I get to that point. But I like to start off at this spot right here. It's near town, and ooh, isn't that just a bit spooky? I'm gonna go ahead and hide in here for a bit, hide from the possessed billboard. And I just want to show off something. A very frequent comment was, what mod do you use to show the enemies? Well, it's not a mod. You go into options, go into difficulty. There's the name tags things. And then there's here on personal awareness called Vision Aid. And that's what makes the little circles pop up. It's not a mod. The only mod I'm running, besides what comes with this scenario, is the mod that lets me climb over walls and stuff. Checking out our arsenal here, we do start with some pretty solid shit. We got night vision goggles, we got a Kitaba, of course, or a Katiba, and an AK-12, or 17. This is actually a very nice thing, as the default arsenal starts us off. We, of course, have infinite AK-47s, and that means infinite ammo for it. This weapon uses the exact same ammo as the AK, but we can actually slap attachments onto it. And it also has an underbarrel grenade launcher, and nicely enough, we have infinite underbarrel grenades. So it's pretty much a straight upgrade, and it's going to be a weapon I'm going to stick with for a bit here. And for now, I'm swapping to different clothes, because once again, the undercover mechanic comes back, so I'm just going to throw my gun into my backpack, and I'm just going to toss my chest piece to the floor. And I'll be sure to carry some extra ammo in the backpack, so just in case I need the gun, I'm not going to be left behind. The main reason why I'm setting up for Undercover now is because, unlike previous versions of the mod, you don't start with some freebie vehicles, which is kind of annoying because it means you either have to pay up like about $400 at the start just to get yourself a normal vehicle, or like what I'm doing here, I'm just running to the nearby town to grab me a few vehicles. And to kind of help with the cuts, I'm going to do that overlay map just to kind of keep everyone's bearings on where I'm going and what happens. I didn't really like how in previous versions it was pretty much snap cut, snap cut, snap cut, and you really didn't know where the fuck I was at most times. We run across a few bad guys. They have those fucking dogs again. If you've watched the previous mod, you know that the dogs will blow your undercover status if you're near them, which is not good. It usually hits you at the worst times. And as I said, we're actually going against NATO, but just because we're against NATO doesn't mean we don't get to see our good old friends, the AAF or the FIA. They'll be running around too. In fact, I think those guys may have been one of those two. I don't know if they were NATO specifically. But yeah, first things first, you goddamn moron, is we're just gonna start jacking a few vehicles for the cause of our, well, I want to say revolution, but the loading screen says war and profits. And there's a few mechanics later that kind of makes it all sound like it's very money driven, as opposed to being, overthrowing the capitalist yoke for the socialist paradise. Now here's another group of enemies that are part of the NATO forces, is a police force. As of right now, they're not too interesting. They carry wimpy little 9mm submachine guns, but they do wear vests, which are actually pretty nice. But since right now I'm more interested in vehicles, I'm just gonna give them a little pass up, and I'll worry about them another time. But what I was mainly looking for is a truck with a flatbed on it, because we'll need those for some later missions. Unfortunately, jacking vehicles gets you reported sometimes, and what the fuck just happened? Oh, later, nerds. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a restart. Restarting the game unfortunately changed the time, so it's dark out now, but that's okay. I think that will work out even better. Makes it more atmospheric. Unfortunately, once again, I don't know what it is. It seems to just be these flatbeds that I get my cover blown whenever I jump in them. They don't really seem to care if I jump in the boxcars, though. And the towing mechanic is back in play, which is always useful. I just basically come in and tow up a few vehicles and drive them right on back to HQ. Another thing I should mention, though, about HQ is I specifically wanted to hide it in the forest here, just so our guy who is not who was it, Stravos or Petros? Yeah, they're gone. Stravos and Petros are gone. Meet the new team. I just don't want him to get shot by a passing patrol. Now, part of the beginning of the game is basically you're doing raids, just going across the different villages, and shooting guards, pretty much. Now, while I was raiding a village on the east side of the island, I hear a helicopter overhead. So there's a smoke from where the guys landed. I don't know where the helicopter went. Must have been one hell of a stealth chopper. But, looking around and oh hey, actual proper NATO forces. These guys are pretty nice because not only do they carry better weaponry, but they also have like armor and helmets, which are things I really need here at the beginning. So, you know, nothing suspicious about the truck that just kind of stopped here, and there we go. Got one of them. And I admit, playing at night's kind of cheating because the guys use flashlights, which means I can actually, it's easier for me to find out where dudes are at. But on the flip side, if they don't have flashlights, then it works against me, obviously. And yeah, just gotta take it nice and slow, so be ready to see copious amounts of speed ups. Because you can't rush in this game. Just I'm wearing a pretty crappy piece of armor. They're using 6.5 meter ammo. Yeah, they can basically one-shot me, assuming they can actually hit me. Doesn't help they're cheating ass motherfuckers who immediately saw me the second I poked my head out. But that's cool. He basically ran his entire clip dry on me. Though I'm not exactly doing much better. Now, a big change from the previous version of the game. And when I say previous version, no, I mean the version I Let's Played. I'm not talking about the direct number of difference, because I didn't play that version. Now, what is different is that instead of just outright dying, you can wound the enemy. And this also gives the enemy a chance to recover their own troops. Like, you know, you shoot someone and you don't finish them off, a medic could bring them on right back into the fight. There is an option where we could revive them, but just for now, I'm going to go ahead and finish them off. Just a pro tip, don't shoot him in the head. Okay, kids, when you down a NATO soldier, don't shoot him in the head to finish him off. Shoot him in the legs, because then you can get his helmet. If you shoot his helmet off, you can't pick the helmet up. Isn't that kind of, you know, kind of depressing? But while the first guy didn't have a proper vest, his buddy had a vest, which is nice. So now we're back at HQ. I've done a few more raids, just pretty much every time, just pretend I'm doing raids in between missions. I ask our friend here for a logistics mission, and it's to steal a truck from an outpost. We're not going to do that. But we do get a rescue mission to go right back to that same village to rescue some refugees. These pretty much work the same way as like PAL rescues. Basically the guys we rescue join us in HR. And HR is used to recruit troops. So I'm all kitted out in the proper armor, and I've also got my helmet on. But my teammates, I'm going to keep them in the normal stuff. An annoying thing is, though, is that they all like to spawn with 9mm ammo. So I have to frequently take control of them and give them a proper AK for some proper, revolution going. So we're going to cut that out, and we're going to travel all the way back to the village. Now there's our guys we got to rescue with some grid mines. I don't fucking know how to pronounce that. The police holding them. Usually it's just police that watches over them, but this time they actually got proper NATO troops here. Which is kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, that's more, modern weapons, helmets, and vests. On the other hand, that's more bullets going my way. And there's quite a handful of them too, and they're kind of spread out. This might be a problem, except... Oh, Jesus Christ. Looks like we have a supporter in the civilian population. Just fucking murdered one of them for us. Which, thankfully, gets all the troops to stop being so spread out and kind of consolidate into one spot. Which is nice because, like, the worst thing is when you don't see them and then they pop up behind you all the damn time. So I'm working out a plan. I'm thinking, okay, they're all kind of moving out, in the center of the village. So we're just gonna hook around here on the cliff and kind of hide up in the jungle. Thankfully, the AI, it does kind of follow line of sight rules, but it can also like be affected by lighting and whatnot. So we are gonna be in the dark hills while they're all out in the lighted, village. And always make sure to write down where you put your truck at. I can't count the number of times I've went, fuck, where did my vehicle go? And I'm stranded out in the middle of nowhere. I just got to make sure that my troops are not going to give up the position by firing too early. That's always a bit of a frustration.
Rifleman, 100 meters, right. Ready to fire.
Alright, just got to get nice and close and get all of our troops ready for combat.
My stance. Weapons free.
Now the police troops are usually the lowest threat, considering their weapons are so wimpy as of right now. But on the other hand, a 9mm probably won't drop me, but losing accuracy because I got shot would not help any at all. And annoyingly, something I'm noticing now is that my troops seem to be just single firing their guns as opposed to auto firing. Kind of odd. And man, thank God I got some of that proper NATO armor. And of course the medic wants to stand out, like way out in the open. I swear there's something about medics in this game that makes them just completely suicidal. And oh shit, the AI is using flares to try and find where we are. That's Because like you've noticed, they haven't actually fired back yet.
Vega,
The AI is not actually too shabby in this game. I'm honestly kind of surprised that they don't just do some bullshit stuff where they just so happen to walk towards me. But yeah, at this point now they're properly firing back. And just to be sure, I make sure to move everyone away from the flare. All in all, a pretty successful ambush. And since the AI has recently thrown a helicopter our way, I shouldn't have to worry about reinforcements. That's always the major cause of concern with prolonged fights, is the enemy being reinforced. Ooh, damn. That was a fucking headshot too, as my helmet went off. But this is a perfect way to show off the new, like, healing mechanic. We can actually be dragged, and we can also drag friendlies. The AI can also drag each other, which is pretty neat. It is a bit stilted, but hey, I appreciate it. One of my more treasured memories from Arma 2 was I was doing this mission where I was clearing out a village, and my squad lead got shot. And we were patrolling with a Humvee, and the Humvee pulls up in front of us, and I grab my squad lead and I pull him behind a building as the Humvee is just mowing down these insurgents, and I patch him up, and that was like so cool because it was just so, it wasn't like set, you know, it wasn't a thing that was supposed to happen. It all just kind of flowed naturally. So being able to drag teammates around, I'm totally all for that. And in a kind of fucked up way, I'm sure you've heard about the thing where snipers wound a guy just to try and get him, just to try to get like his squad mates to try and rescue him, so then they can shoot the squad mates as well. You can kind of do that in this. You could shoot a guy, and then when his teammates try to pull him away, you can then shoot that rescuer. So that's always nice. I'm totally for that. I'm really happy they're able to put something like that in game. It does take a bit though. It's not something you could really rely on or cheese, because you notice I sped up while the guy was trying to patch me up. And if it happens during combat, I was honestly surprised the AI rescued me as fast as it did. Because usually it takes like, I've had times where I just sat there for 3 minutes waiting for the guy to fucking rescue me. And they would just like walk around me and not actually do anything. So I've done some looting. I've also made my troops equip various NATO weaponry, just because there was no more space in the truck. Rescued the refugees, bringing them on back to base. And thankfully I completely cleared out the village, so I was able to go back into undercover mode. For each guy, we get ourselves a point in HR, but NATO really didn't like that. Something to note, I completely forgot to talk about the top lines, is we also get NATO aggression and CSAT aggression, and in doing those, and antagonizing one side or the other will make them attack us more often, so we gotta kind of balance that. And I make sure to go through all my troops and make them take off all the good equipment. I don't want them losing it. Once I unlock things in the arsenal, I'll probably let them keep some of that nice stuff, but for now, it all gets thrown into the arsenal box. Actually, at this point, I stopped wearing helmets because I keep losing helmets whenever they get shot off, and you can't recover them after that. So whatever, not bad. We got a few MX weaponries. We got a few, like, tier 4 military vests. Not a bad haul, all in all. So that's pretty much the goal of the game. For the beginning at least, I'm going to be raiding different towns. I'm going to be trying to gather equipment, and once we start building up, then I'm going to start attacking places proper. But I do want to end with this. I was raiding a village on the west side of the island, and then I hear one of my guys announce that there's an MRAP coming up at a technical. So I'm like, well, shit. Get off the road, move over here, move over there. Something else you can also kind of see is that I also was releasing a prisoner.
5 meters. Front.
That's something else you can do with the wounding mechanic, is you wound a guy, revive him, release him, that's how you lower your NATO aggression.
Right. Hold fire. Move 75
But
meters.
yeah, at this point I'm like, god damn it guys, quit fucking shooting at him. Yep, there we go, that's how you take out a patrol. Gotta end the video with a bang. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll try to get these videos out maybe once a week. Trying is the big thing. The editing takes me a bit. Oh, see you guys all next time.